Hello everybody, this is Godsgirl G and thank you for joining me today. For those of you who are new to my channel, welcome. And for those of you who have returned to my channel to watch this video and you're not already subscribed, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Subscribing will ensure that you receive notification when I upload a new video, which I do on a weekly basis. So let's get into today's video. Today's video is dedicated to responding to the questions that you gave to me due to a video request that I did back in August. So I got a lot of questions through the godsgirlg@gmail.com email versus directly on the video site. And so we're going to go through these today. I have not thought through a lot of these answers. So what you're going to hear is exactly as I'm thinking my response. So you have been warned. All right, I'll give you the most common question first. Are you married? Yes. So if you look on the channel videos I have displayed, you'll see that I actually put a story out there of how I met my husband. When I first started the channel, I was actually unmarried. I was not quite newly divorced, but I had been divorced by that time, I think at least by about 2 years. 2 years, maybe year and a half, somewhere around there. And so I started the channel just for something that I wanted to do. So if you go back, look on my channel, you'll see all of that there. Okay. Next question that I got is, why do women hate the relatives of their husband? Well, I think that's using a general term. I don't think that all women hate their husband's relatives. I don't think that that's it. But if all of the women that you're dating, because again, I believe this is a male asked me this question. If all the women that you're dating are coming back saying the same thing, I'm not questioning the women. I'm questioning now your family. I'm questioning your relatives, what they saying to her. What they doing to her? Because I know that tensions can be high when you are coming into someone's family. They size you up, and you'll be amazed at the stuff that relatives will say on the side when you're not listening and you're not around your wife. So check that out. That's what I'm going to encourage you to do. That's a sign that it might not be the wife. It might be the relatives. Okay. Somebody else actually put on the actual video just basically some suggestions of future videos, which I'll read a couple of those. God told me my husband, what do I do now? And also address the possibility of being wrong about this one. That is a good one. But there's so many different roads that you can take to get to the answer to that. So I'll start working on that. Some of it I've laced into a lot of stuff that I'm doing because there's so much that it just depends. Godly women and healthy, taking care of ourselves, eating habits. I did an update on the self-care video, so I think that would take care of that one. Counseling, therapy, I'll have to get into that, but I think a lot of my videos I've been doing lately, which is the midpoint videos, have been addressing some of that about depression, narcissistic relationships, toxic relationships. I had a lot to say about those two things, but I'll keep doing some more to see how we can get into a little bit more counseling and therapy. Finding good friends, especially as adults, way past undergrad. You hit on a very good one. I think it is time to understand what that is, and I've actually been working on something regarding friends, categories of friends, so I'll be releasing that probably within the next 30 days. Joy and peace, I can work on that one too. Finances, I'm working on one that's going to be about signs about finances, which is an updated version of what I did a number of years ago when I first started the channel. Online dating, what to look for. I think I did as a relaunch video recently. I think that would have been in either May or June. I did a updated video about online dating, so check that one out. Social media for Christians. I'll work on that one. I'll work on that one. Another question that I got is, if your life was a book, what would you call it? Oh, so many things have gone through my mind. Confessions of a church girl. Confessions of a minister's wife. Fix it, Jesus. 50 Shades of Church. Because church can be shady in so many different ways. Okay. The Minister and I. That would be a good title. The Bishop That Loved Me. The Other Woman. don't want your man. My real testimony. Because you know, sometime in church we clean up our testimony, but if people really knew your real testimony, I'm just saying right there, that'd be a good book title. What the Mahalia? It's one of my favorite terms anymore, so that would be a good title of the book. Mastering Lemonade. Players in the Pulpit. How about that one? Haters Gon' Hate. Like that title. So those are just some titles that I thought about, a little comical, but I'm being real. Y'all want real. I'm being real. I just saying. All right. Next question. When are you going to tell the story about dating a bishop? Okay. Yeah, I did say I was going to do that. I didn't forget. But when I was preparing for the story, I remember this little piece of paper that was called a non-disclosure agreement. And I'm just going to leave that right there. Enough said. Moving on. Is your current husband a minister? No, he's not a minister. On purpose, I did not want to marry another minister. No minister, no pastor, no bishop, nothing. I just wanted to marry just an average person that loves Jesus. I didn't want the church titles. And he is so supportive of what I want to do in ministry and very appreciative of that. Where did you meet your husband? Met him online. And again, I have a story out there that I did. I think it's called Online Success Dating Story. How I Met My Husband. It's 2 videos. Check it out because it's a pretty interesting story. How old are you? Okay. Same age as last year, but a year older. Itty the who. You have an accent. Where are you from? I try to cover up the accent, but when I'm, doing comedy and stuff like that, because my husband says I'm funny. I feel like I have dry humor, but my husband says I'm pretty hilarious. So I'm gonna trust what he said. I'm from the Midwest by way of South. Got a lot of southern roots and it comes up through the Midwest, but that's all you gonna get out of me. I ain't gonna tell y'all where I'm from. That's too much information. I ain't doing that. Did you ever see the person you broke off your engagement? J-Rome, that's the name we use, J-Rome. Yes, I did. About a year before I met my husband, I was actually having breakfast with a girlfriend. And we were just having a good time. And there was a group of people, I guess, in the back. And believe it or not, it was like, you know how people ride motorcycles and they ride them in groups and stuff like that? There was a big group out there. But it was like a African-American or Black motorcycle group. And they were sitting in a big section of the restaurant. I didn't think anything of it. I'm sitting there just talking to my girlfriend, and I happened to look over. Something said, look over your shoulder. I happened to look over, and I was like, I know that ain't J-Rome. And sure enough, it was approaching me. Now, mind you, we're talking about a number of years later, okay? So he had gained some weight. He didn't look nothing like he looked back when I was in my 20s, nothing like that. So anyway, he comes up and I had to compose myself because I didn't want to talk to him. Nothing else needed to say. I done said everything I needed to say. There's nothing else needed to be said. So anyway, he comes up and he was like, and then he said my name, trying to act like he was struggling. He knew my name. And I said, yes. And then I said his name. I'll say J-Rome. He said, I heard that got divorced, and he named some other interesting facts that only people that really know me knew. And I then got concerned because I had problems with him stalking me way back when. And I'm like, he bet not start it up. And actually, even beyond then, he had been trying to stalk me on Facebook. So he would throw out things like bishop, elder, pastor, aviation guru. He would have all these different Facebook names, trying his best to friend me. It's over. 2 words, over. I I know that's one word, but that's, come on, over. Let it go. Let it go. Moving on. Moving on. But he started saying all that. I did one of those. Please. And I was just like, bye. We ain't doing that. Bye. We ain't, no more. I was done. All right, next question. What is your next adventure? Travel. I like to travel, but since we're still, of course, at the time of this video, since we're still in the coronavirus pandemic, which has literally changed everything that we do, I want to travel. So my husband likes reggae, so we want to go to Jamaica. I've gone to almost every island, with the exception of I haven't gone to Jamaica or Bora Bora. And so I've not gone to Grenada as well. I heard Grenada is beautiful, but haven't gone there. I also want to go to Africa because I did my ancestry and found out I'm Nigerian. So I want to go to Nigeria, see my people over in Nigeria. So if I have any people from Nigeria on here, holla at your girl. We could be cousins. I'm just saying. Okay, hook a sister up. Tell me where I need to stay, all that kind of stuff. All right, so next question. You seem to have so much wisdom and knowledge. Oh, thank you. How did you get all of that? That is a very interesting question. Thank you so much. I don't consider myself a very wise or knowledgeable person because, you know, there's so much to learn that when you think you know something, you find out that you don't. So thank you for that. It's very appreciative. When I was little, I read the story of a young King Solomon. I remember reading, I think it was First, Second Kings. Then, of course, I read the Ecclesiastics and Songs of Solomon and all that kind of stuff. And but when I was little, I took note that out of all the things that a young King Solomon could ask for from God, he could ask for wealth, he could ask for, I think the Bible said, rubies, all of these wonderful things. He asked the Lord for wisdom because he understood that being a king at that young age, it would require somebody that either had experience or had a ton of wisdom. And so he prayed for wisdom and God granted him that. And as you know, we're still gathering wisdom from the book of Proverbs and Ecclesiastics and Songs of Solomon, y'all. We still gathering a lot of knowledge from King Solomon from that. Now, we know King Solomon had an issue, you know, with women, but, you know, I might have to do a video about that one because wisest man in the world, but I tell you the truth. That scripture that said, but he loved many strange women. Anywho, but yeah, I prayed the prayer that for God to give me wisdom. And what I realized is that when I prayed a prayer of wisdom, I prayed really to be tried, tested, to go through some things. So I've been through some very interesting things in my life that have been extremely difficult. People look at me and they think that I've had it easy, that I've had a life of privilege, so to speak. And that's very far from the truth. So I think that when you ask for wisdom, you're asking for problems, you're asking for troubling waters. So yeah, that's what happened. That's my answer to that question. Moving on. What is your guilty pleasure in music? Okay. All right. Okay. Now I love gospel music. I love God. You don't love God? What's wrong with you? I love gospel music. Okay. But listen, I love Prince. I love MJ, Michael Jackson, for those of you who don't know that. MJ. But lately, y'all, don't hate me for it, but Lizzo's song, Boys, not the lyrics. I just like the beat. So I was taking a hip hop class because that's another thing that I like doing before the pandemic. So between walking and doing a hip hop class, she would play that beat. I'm telling you, I would be tired and it would be like one of the, you know, the most intense workouts right before cool down. She would get that going, and I tell you, it would help me get my exercise in. But go listen to it. Don't listen to the words, but that beat right there, I'm telling you, it gets my attention every single time. I'm like, well, all right. Somebody gonna make a church song to that one. Somebody need to. All right. Other than the Bible, what do you read for enjoyment? Other than the Bible. So I have read so many books. My mom used to tell me that as a little girl, I was constantly in my room reading. There was another reason for that, but I do like to read. As a young adult, I realized how little I knew about the Black experience in Hollywood. And so I became fascinated with a lot of the Black starlets of, Dorothy Dandridge, Josephine Baker, Lena Horne, Della Reese, all of these different stars. And I gained so much information from that. Another book that is up there, it's a book that you must read. And it's so good. I'm going to put a picture of this book up here. It's called Redeeming Love by Francine Rivers. That book right there, y'all, I mean to tell you, that book. Now, it's a fictional story based upon the biblical story of Gomer and, is it Homer and Gomer? That's not it. Gomer, which is the prostitute. Is it Jeremiah? I cannot believe I don't know this. This is what happens when you don't prepare. But anyway, it's when God told the prophet to go marry a prostitute because, Israel just kept leaving God and going after other gods and everything like that. But Francine Rivers did a fictional story, but it was based on that Bible story. Oh my gosh, that book was so good. I told my mama about it. And I promise you, she read that book and she was like, that was a good book. So I promise you, they're in the process now of, I think, trying to make a movie about it. But if you've not read that book, go to your public library. They have an online thing now, I am sure. Get that book. That book will bless you really good. And for those of you that are too saved to be reading fictional books, this book will help you in your journey about how God delivers people who they think that they're unsalvageable. That story was so good. I probably read that book probably about 5 times. And my husband knows I have a copy of the book in the bedroom, sitting right there. We were cleaning out some things and I was like, oh my gosh, this book. So everybody, y'all need to go out and read this book before they make the movie, because if they make the movie, they'll ruin the book. You know what happens. They're just going to cut out stuff, but you need to read that book. It'll bless you. Trust what I'm telling you. Trust me. You mentioned that you sing. What part do you sing? I sing soprano, to believe it or not. But as I'm getting older, I'm really comfortable singing high alto. I don't have some of the range that I had, but I've gotten a little better, I think. But I used to sing soprano. A lot of people that when I moved to the city that I'm in now to go to college, a lot of people think I just sing alto, but actually I'm actually a soprano. It might be low soprano, but I can reach some notes. But I'm really a soprano. And so the church that I minister at now, I sing the soprano part for that church, gotten back to that. So that's what I do there. You seem to have dated a lot in the church. What is the most common pickup line? I wouldn't say I dated a lot in the church, but I'll tell you the common pickup line that I got, and this is probably an old line, but it was way back many years ago, because I'm a year older than last year. I'm not going to tell y'all my age, but I'm older. Okay. But the line I got, I would be singing on stage, because, after the altar call and stuff like that, as people are leaving, they would have us up on stage singing. And sometimes they would wait and I would come down off of the stage. And this one man, bless his heart, he said, "Are you hurt?" And I was thinking I didn't trip down the steps, nothing like that. I'm like, no. He said, "Did you hurt yourself when you fell from heaven?" And at first I laughed because I was like, but did I go out with her? No. Most of the guys that approached me at church actually didn't approach me. And I'll say it this way. They would have somebody introduce them to me. And I don't know if it's because they were just nervous or intimidated. I don't know. But many times they would have somebody that they knew that I knew and maybe have respected. They were like, can you introduce us? Can you introduce me? Or things like that. And other ones, I got introduced by ministers, elders, because yeah, that bishop circle, elder circle, man, I would love to write a book about that. But anyway, that's what ends up happening. That's what happened to me. So, but anyway, those are all the questions, at least the majority of the questions that I got. I tried to put them in a succinct way and try to do them as uncut as possible. So hopefully you enjoyed this little chuckle with me, because I do have a sense of humor. I do like to laugh, you know, in spite of what some of my videos, they might come across a little serious. But you know what? A good chuckle and laughter is good for the soul. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment. Bye.